Hello. Hey y'all, it's Lucy again. As a part of the Great Halloween Spooktacular, I'm showing you kind of extra crafts you can do. And today I'm going to show you just some fun little details. I'm going to show you how to make a broom. Now I made this broom. Oh wait, let me show you. Wrong camera. I made this broom out of cardboard to go on one of the witch's hat houses from my book 13 Handcrafted Halloween Houses. And I think it'd be fun to make one a real broom. So we're going to use, I got some fancy toothpicks and I cut them. We're going to make a little one, but first we're going to make a big one. So I picked up some sticks from the yard and that will be the bigger ones. But we're also going to make some little polymer pumpkins. Let me see if I hold it up so you can see, because sometimes you're like, oh, I don't have any little things that fit on my house, and the pumpkins work really well. And so we'll do some pumpkins, and then I've got some cutters. Like this is a little cookie cutter, tiny cookie cutters, an owl, a ghost. I've got a cat. I found some cutters that look like tombstones, and I also I've had this but never used it. This is a candy mold for making tombstones and some little bones. So we're going to play around with some paper clay with that. So we're just going to try to make some little ancillary things to kind of go along with our other crafts. Oh, I see a bunch of people. I was on the wrong channel. I couldn't see the chat, so now I can see the chat. Let me see who's here. Sonia, Barbara. Oh, my brother is here. Ben Foxworth is my brother. He's a very nice person. To give you an idea, he's nicer than me to the cats. If a cat is sitting down in a seat, he won't make them move. You know, I will make them move, but Ben will not. Okay, Delvine is here. Oh, the serendipitous crafter. Debbie, Deborah. So anyway, I'm so glad to see y'all in comments throughout. And when I'm busy doing the crafts, a lot of times I don't see the comments, but I'm going to try to remember to ask for any questions at the end so I can answer. If you ask while making stuff, that's good. But if you can ask again at the end, then I'll be more likely to see it. Okay, so I'm going to start off with the brooms because I can clean up after the brooms easier than I can clean up after the clay. So let me and let me show you. This is just kind of funny because you know I'm a craft hoarder. These are all my little pumpkins. Some I purchased, but these are just like a little bit too big for my project. So that's when I started making my own. Okay, I'm going to use what I call the down-facing camera. I'm going to rotate. I'm going to change it on the screen. I hope. Change it on the screen. Let's see if you can see. Okay, I think we can see it. And I've already cut. We're using our rope. Let me show you. In case you didn't, it's the same rope that we made with the bottle brush trees, in case you didn't see that video. It's just regular rope that you get from the the hardware store, one of the home improvement stores. I guess you could order it online, but it's probably easier to find and maybe cheaper if you find it at the home improvement stores. And I just cut some fibers already. And I just wanted to show you, when you uncoil these fibers, they're very curly, but if you spray them with just a little water, they relax and they're like this and they look straight. So I'm going to move those out of the way. Move my little house out of the way. And these, like I said, I found these twigs in my yard. These are dogwood twigs, and you kind of have to test your twigs. So bend them a little bit because sometimes they will break easy. And I thought this one might be fun because it's all crookedy. So we'll put the fibers here. And it's really easy. Now, these were left over from when I made bottle brush trees. So they're longer than I would normally cut for a broom, unless I was making a much bigger broom. It's really simple. So you just kind of embed the twig. And oh, let's just do this. Let's just go ahead and trim it so the top of the broom is pretty straight. It'll get a little messed up when we do it. And just kind of wrap it around. Actually, I should have put the string down first. Now I make the string pretty long because it's easier to hold and to tie. So pick it up, put our string down, kind of embed the twig in there. Okay. And then you tie a knot. Now, you know, sometimes knots are hard. So just for fun, because remember, I'm from the ER, I'm going to show you how to do a knot like when we sew people up, a surgical knot. So you wind it around twice because that locks it, and then you pick up the end. Let's pick up the end, and you pull it through. Let's rearrange this a little better. Let me do that. Okay, pull it through. Of course, I don't have to arrange fibers when I'm sewing somebody up. Okay, and then pull tight. Right, I didn't hold it. You have to click it so that it pulls tight. You can buy these like on Amazon and stuff, and you pull it tight so it's going to be a tight knot. If it's not as tight as you would like, we'll fix that because we're going to wind our extra around anyway. And then you roll it through again. Actually, I should roll it through this side. So it's a square knot, and pull tight. And that's actually a pretty good, it looks pretty good. All right, I'm just going to do another knot. When I sewed up little kids, I always tied a lot of knots because it was easier to take it out. You see, if you've got a little tiny delicate knot, when you take it out, you kind of have to dig into the wound to open it up. I know y'all don't really want to hear that. I'm sorry. Let's just wind it around a couple of times. And we're going to tie a knot again, just to make sure it's very tight. And you can tie it a normal way, however you tie knots. I left a lot of extra string. You don't really need that much. But I haven't made one in a while, so I didn't practice this last night because I had some other stuff I had to do. Now, the other thing, you want to reinforce it, so I'm adding, actually, let me trim this first. So I'm adding glue just kind of around the thread so it'll hold. And now let's trim it at the base. Now, how long do we want it? Okay, I'm going to trim so that there's extra. I'm going to make it a little shorter. And there is our little broom. Isn't that fun? That's easy, and it'll look good on a mantle. You know, it's just fun. Okay, now I'm going to move my fibers out of the way so we can make the tiny one. All right, so I cut some, I showed you these are really fancy. They're, I don't know how to say it because it looks like a French word. L'Elegance toothpicks, extra long. But what's nice about them is that they have this really cool top to them. It kind of looks like a broom. So, but they're pretty long, and so you could make one with it long. But I'm trying to make one to fit a little house. So let's get some fibers. We don't need nearly as many. I'm going to cut this in half. And let's trim the top. Brush the fibers away. And let's see how thick we want it. Take some of these out. That looks pretty good. And we need a thread. I'm going to do it long, but not quite as long as I did last time. Lay it down, make sure let me see where I want to make sure it's embedded. Yeah, so I've got my toothpick embedded in the straw. Gonna tie a knot. I'm gonna try to tie a knot the regular way. Pull tight. Knot it again. Let's go ahead and add a dot of glue there. Wind it around. Wind this one around. Tie a knot again. Oh, and I've seen some Halloween houses where they put up a sign on a fence or something and it says broom parking, which I think is really cute. So you could have a whole collection of little brooms in the broom parking lot. I'm not tying it right. There we go. One more knot, then some glue, and now you know how to make little tiny brooms. The other thing I thought it might be fun, you could do it as a kind of like a little party favor if you put a pencil, used a pencil for it, you know, use one end as a pencil. Okay, I'm going to trim this one pretty short. Or you could leave it scraggly if you want. Okay, there we go. And now see, this was a little large for this house. Let me see if I can grab another house where it would fit well. I'm going to put it in front of the batwing house. It's still pretty big for the batwing house. So you can make it much smaller, but it's easier to actually make it to learn how to make it a little bit bigger. Actually, I have an idea. Since that slid through, let's put some glue around here and let's pull it back through so we know that the tip of the broomstick is going to adhere. Okay, so those are your little brooms. All right, I'm going to move that out of the way. Cover up and move this. So I do hope you will make some little brooms if you like this idea, assuming you like this idea. And now we're going to play with clay. Now the only problem with the clay is that I need a smooth surface to work on. So I need to like roll out the clay and kind of play with it a little bit. So I'm using my glass mat, which has some shine to it. So I'm going to turn this light off. Move these out of the way. And let's see. Yeah, I hope that works. So I'm going to show you the options. So we talked about the candy molds. I'm going to try paper clay with the candy molds. Created paper clay and it air dries. And we're going to first we'll make pumpkins. I'm using orange Sculpey. And it looks kind of jittery. Okay. And the nice thing about it is this stuff is pretty soft, but you still have to, it's called conditioning. So you pull some off and then you kind of work it for a minute. you have to kind of make it more pliable. So that it's more cohesive and easier to work with. A lot of people run it through. The people who do a lot of this and sort of do it as a living, they have they have like a pasta machine, and they roll it through the pasta machine a few times so that it'll get flexible. My medium is paper, so I don't do that. And usually I just make little pumpkins, but we're going to try some other stuff today too. Okay. It's taking longer than I thought. I'm gonna sit on it, see if it gets warm. I'm putting it under my leg. I know, that's silly. See if that works. So just kind of soften up your paper clay, your Sculpey. And the nice thing about it is to make the clay hard, you just put it in the oven. I put it on like an old pie tin and put it in the oven. I think it says 275 for 15 minutes. These are little tiny pieces, so you probably, let me see the instructions again, make sure I'm not leading you astray. Yes, 275. It says 30 minutes per quarter inch. I don't usually do that because my pieces are so tiny. You can also make candy. If you wanted to look up some videos, remember how I used the Tim Holtz candy, like it looks like the little Brock's mints, the mint candy for Halloween, and candy corn. I made candy corn with it before. You can look up some videos and get really, really cute stuff if this interests you. Okay, I'm scrolling just a second. Well, I see my sister is here. My sister is named Joanne, so that's interesting. My brother and my sister are watching. I appreciate that. My sister she's my baby sister, which means like I kind of was she will dispute this. I was kind of the boss of her for years, but I just adore her. I'm trying to talk just so you're not bored. Well, that's probably a boring detail. While I'm softening up my clay, I'm conditioning the clay. I think this is enough. And I did forget one thing. I always do that. Okay, I like them really tiny, and I found when I make bigger ones, like this one, this is a really good pumpkin, but it's too big for my scale, so I like really little ones. So it's more like pea-sized. Tiffany says she has a pasta roller. Okay, so here it's just a little ball. And what I forgot was I usually use a knife or something like a plastic knife, so I can make the indentations on it. So I'm actually going to use, these are scissors I recycled from the ER because they throw everything away. So I soak them, in bleach. Usually we save stuff that hasn't been used. So, maybe somebody opened up a box for some other reason, and so the scissors were never touched. Okay, I'm just going to make little indentations to mimic the segments you see on a pumpkin. And then let me make a depression for my stem. And there's my pumpkin. And I actually like to do different shapes. So some are short and squatty, and sometimes you make them taller, and they look better when you've got some variety. And that's why I make things by hand, because it never looks the same. And another reason I like to paint, because it adds kind of a different dimension. Okay, isn't that a fun shape for a pumpkin? Kind of a oblong shape. Let's do the scissors thing again to get some. Oh, and I do want it to stand up, so let's squish it down on the board. Somebody said I'm never boring. I'm sure my family viewed that at times. And the people, like I said, who do this for a living really put a lot of emphasis on these details and, make the segments. Oh, and then they'll carve faces in them. But, the house is always my big thing. And then I make an indentation for a stem. So those two. So I've got a green here. Let's see if we can do it. And I just kind of roll it into a little, almost like a snake. This one's actually softer than that one. No, I don't usually, I have purchased pumpkins, but I really wanted smaller ones. I like to make, and you may wonder why I make my houses so small. I do it partly for storage. I think it's so much easier. And if you're going to have a village, it's kind of hard to find a place to put up a whole village. So my houses are really pretty small. You can enlarge them if you like. But when the houses are small, you need small pumpkins. So just roll it, kind of an elongated cylinder. And sometimes it's fun to kind of coil it. All right, let's see if this is probably too big for this pumpkin. Yeah, we got to make it smaller. Oh, yesterday we made the tree stump candy bowl, and I decorated it with creepy crawlies, including some little black snakes I found. And so to get to the candy, you have to reach past the snakes. And Kel said she had nightmares about those snakes. I'm sorry about that. I don't want anybody to have nightmares. And you'll notice if you see my Halloween houses, my houses are really pretty benign. They're more like abandoned houses more than spooky, scary, haunted houses. There. We got a little coiled stem. And if you want to make sure that it adheres, you can use like a glaze or a glue to make sure. But I haven't had a problem because I make this little hole, this depression in the top, and I kind of smush the stem in there. So now the stems will break off. I do have that happen. Me and the cats will like knock them off and they'll roll around. So that does happen, but I haven't had the stem come off. But I've had the stem break. There we go. So let's adhere it a little better. Smush it in. And so those are my two little pumpkins. Okay, so now I'm going to set this aside and I will bake these later. Get rid of my green. So now let's try a cookie cutter. Let's try this is a cat silhouette, and I've got a ghost cookie cutter. And he's actually a very good size. I've used him before on my projects. I have to open up a box. I bought like a kit for making clay, and so this is going to be my roller. But you could use, you know, anything else. I wouldn't use something you're going to eat. You use for preparing food. Okay, let's do the black cat. See if, try to condition this fast. Okay, this one's pretty soft too. I need a little more than that. Oh yes, you bake them. Debbie asked, do you bake them? Yes, 275. It says for 30 minutes, but like I said, these are also thin. I don't think you have to bake them quite that long. And so I would use an old tin, like a pie pan or something that you're not going to ever eat off of. You know, it's a craft tin. Once you use it this way, it's a craft tin. Okay, here I'm going to put it on the white part. And then roll it out, just like you'd make cookies. And let's cut out our cat. And just like that, we have, let me see, I'm going to go ahead and turn this light on. Let me see how bothersome it is. It's a little bothersome. But anyway, there's the little cat. So you have a little cat you can put by your houses. And and you can mix colors too, or you can paint it. This is Sculpey and these polymer clays are paintable. So you don't necessarily, you could just buy one color, mix it. Let's make a tombstone. So I found these craft cutters that are kind of tombstone shape. I don't think that was their intention. But I think that's like a perfect size. So let's make it gray. Let's kind of combine the gray and black for our tombstone. And I'm looking at the kind of the replay, and I upgraded my internet trying to so things wouldn't be fuzzy, but I think it's when I move my hands really fast. I'm not sure. Okay. Oh, I see. Somebody was asking if I would give away some little houses. Oh my gosh, my houses. I have so many. Some I have to keep because I always show people. But for example, I have 2 batwing houses. I don't need 2 batwing houses. So that might be an option. I have a bunch of gingerbread houses I made for Christmas gingerbread houses I made a few years ago. They don't have the gingerbread smell, but I have a lot of them. So I don't know. I think that's a good idea. I can give some away. Not today. I have to think about it. I have to talk to my friend Susan. You know, she's the technical magician behind the scenes. So I will talk to her about that. And the bad thing is, okay, see, these are going to be good. And then when you distress them, the little tombstones, when you distress them, you could write on them. It'd be easier to write on one of the bigger ones. But you could also distress it so it sort of looks like writing. So just like sort of some little black dots. So we've got that and that. We got our pumpkins. We got 2 pumpkins. We've got a cat. And let's see. Let's just do a ghost real quick. Because it's actually going pretty fast. Like I said, I hope I'm not boring you. Okay, Lady Antique asked if I was going to have Christmas classes like this one. I'm not going to have like an event, like a paying event as this one is. But what I'm going to do, I think, is do like 12 Days of Christmas in November. And I'm going to show a bunch of stuff that I've got kind of in the background because I've been doing this for years and I've got so many things that I think people don't see. So I'm going to show a craft a day and do that. So everything would be free. It's already free on my blog, my website. And then I'm also, I do have some stuff kind of for sale. You're really supposed to have a little spatula to lift it up. And I would add a little dot for eyes or something. So there's our little ghost. See how easy it is? Okay, now we're going to just experiment for a second, assuming I can find it. Paper clay. I've never used paper clay. It doesn't tell you how to do it. Keep it in a plastic bag when you're done. Let's open up our paper clay. I hope you don't mind experimenting with me. Sorry about the noise. Ooh. Okay, you know I like sculptural tactile things. Oh, this is. See how easy this is? Ooh, I like paper clay already. Okay, we're going to put it in these molds. These little, let me show you. These are the molds. These are candy molds. That's what they're intended for. And they're a little large, but you can probably find other candy molds. Maybe some really cool, leaves. So I don't know. I'm just playing. We'll see how it works. They may not come out of the candy mold. Let's do the simplest shape. Yeah, I can use this. I love the paper clay. You know, anything paper. Okay. Let's squish it in. Oh, and it air dries. I wonder if you let it air dry in the mold. That doesn't really make sense though. Okay. Now there's our little bone. Let's see if we can get it out. I'm afraid this might be a fail. Let me see. Somebody said they doesn't. I almost did it. Oh, my sister must have used it before. She says it doesn't shrink when it's baked. It just gets hard. Okay. Let's see. Yeah, I don't really know how to get it out. You know what you need? You need a silicone mold. Not this kind of plastic. You need a silicone mold. Okay. Which of course I just happen to have. I didn't implant. You need a mold where you can like punch it out. This is an obsolete Martha Stewart silicone mold. So see, we learned something. Okay, now let's get my pumpkin out. Okay, I didn't put it in very well, but you see, you need a mold that's flexible so you can do that. Okay, let's try this. I'm sure probably Etsy is the best place to go for something like this. You can probably find more specialty silicone molds. It's probably easier. Okay, here we go again. This is a twig mold. Trying to scrape off the excess so that when it comes out, I don't have to have all this excess on it. This may be too detailed, but we'll find out. Or perhaps in a silicone mold, you just let it dry. Yeah, you can probably let it dry in that because it's not going to adhere to a silicone mold. So anyway, at least we figured that out. Yeah, let me work it better. So I think those are the main things I wanted to show you. Just kind of different medium. Just something else to play with, like, you know, as if we don't have enough stuff to play with. And tomorrow I'm going to show you how to make a metal roof for your house, like a distressed. Show you how to get kind of a metal patina, and that matches the project for tomorrow. I think you're going to like it. Okay, now I'm going to switch to the front-facing camera and see if you have any questions. I have to go over to my computer with clay fingers. FaceTime. Done. Okay. All right, now I'm looking. Questions. Yes, I'm thinking that's exactly what we have to do with the air dry clay, is let it dry first before we get it out of the mold, because it's hard to get out of the mold, but the silicone remains flexible. So that's got to be the way to do it with the silicone mold. Okay. Oh, Sonia was saying Tim Holtz has a new glow-in-the-dark paste. I'm like, oh my goodness. He kills me. He's so, talk about creative. He is somebody who really thinks of things and just makes it fun. His lives are just an inspiration. Okay, so Erin said she really loves the brooms. Yeah, I like the brooms too. I think especially the little ones work so well, but you could do them as little treats or put them in a party favor. Oh, you could actually maybe use a candy for the stick part, you know, some kind of candy like that. That might be fun. You could use a straw, one of those colorful straws. So there are lots of options for the brooms. And if I remember, I will show you how the clay works with these silicone molds. Okay. Oh, silicone. Oh, silicone. She's got paw prints. Sherry has paw prints. Alrighty. And we will do another, let me see what day it is today. Today is Monday. We will do another day giveaway a little later in the week, and I'll talk, like I said, I'll talk to Susan and see what she thinks about giving a house away. So you can actually have a Lucy Foxworth original. Not that, you know, I think your originals are that's what I want to inspire. I want people to make their own. Okay, I'm still playing with my clay. Okay. Oh, let me turn this off. Any other questions? Thumbs up. Amy said thumbs up. Thank you. Y'all are so sweet to me. I really appreciate it. I've had a good time. Although I am tired. I will say I'm tired. Can you post temps? Yes. Through 275. We'll put it in the description, or I'll try to remember to put it in the description. 275 for 30 minutes for each quarter inch of depth. And I think, like I said, I think I pretty much do mine for more like 15 minutes, because I mean, really, it's just so tiny. But 275 centigrade. Fahrenheit. I'll put both in there, and I'll have to do that right afterwards so I don't forget. Okay. Oh, Vanessa said if she played with the clay, she wouldn't get anything done. Yeah, it's very compelling. Okay, I'm going to sign off now and try to remember to put the instructions in the temperature in the description. Okay, I'll see y'all later. Get some paper from 12 by 12 Cardstock Shop, my sponsor. They're very nice.